Okay, so after I recorded the video of the code along, I had actually come up with something I thought would be fun to do. And then I spent a little time thinking about it and realized, you know what? I don't think it's the best thing to do. Mostly because I think it was a little more advanced. And one of the things, it's not that it was advanced, it just covered topics that most of us aren't there yet. And I thought, how can I give you an exercise for grading in this discussion attendance that would help further your individual knowledge? And this is really the cool thing about AI is that based on your interaction is going to be how the AI responds to you. So here's what I want you to do, and I'll walk through now the things you need to do for the grading part of this, and we'll get to the game that I'm talking about in a minute. So the first part of this for the grading is just the work that you did with the code along. That all I'll do is review it to make sure it's there. I think I had you do 2 commits, and then because I had you delete some stuff at the end. There's nothing you need to put in the response. Because remember, we're doing the work in the private repos here. And so if you posted a URL, nobody but me would be able to see it. So the idea here is just that as part of my review of grading your reply, I will go look. But you're going to want to have that, okay? So now in your reply, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a heading for. I'll show you this in a minute, and come up with your own text and tell us the following, right? And this is related to the code along that you just did. If the code along helps you better understand the code, right? Tell us that, right? Or if it was a review, right? So and do not. I can't tell you how to feel. Try not, because there's always going to be somebody who's better at coding. This is just the reality. And this is a beginning coding class. And there are definitely some students who will always, there are people in life who will always have more skill. That's just the way the world works. The sooner we can kind of get comfortable with it's okay where I'm at, I just think it helps take some of the anxiety out. But I don't know you, and well, I'm getting to know you, but that's a different topic, right? Now, or it could be somewhere between help and review, right? So, in your reply, so this is a thing, right? And provide some context here. Don't just say, yeah, review. So, tell us why it was. So, the heading would be, you know, give us, remember, headings are a summary of what you're about to write. And for me, it would be, this was my code, right? Again, and then I would do a heading 4. You know what? I did this for another class. I'm going to change this. Actually, I want it to be a heading 3. I think they're a little more clear. Okay, so again, come up with your own heading text here, right? This is what I was saying. I'll change this to 4. Okay. And then write a little something about that. Okay, so you're doing the code along, you're going to reply here. It doesn't have to be a long post, but like, did it help? Was it a review? Was it somewhere in between? And tell us why. Now, the next part of this is actually, and I've written a prompt for you here, okay? And so this prompt, and you can read it, right? It's basically giving, this is where the more context we provide to prompts, and this is not a lot. Compared to some of the prompts I write, this is actually not a lot, but I think it's a good start. So what you're going to, you're the best tutor for students learning to code basic JavaScript, right? I'm taking a course, right? We are playing a game to take code we have written, right? And ask you to start by reviewing the code and give me your first suggestion on how to improve the code. Because here's the deal, the code, as a matter of fact, as I was writing it, I so wanted to change it. And this is the nature of coding. Like, you write something, and I think this is where, for me, like, this summer is definitely the summer I'm gonna redo this course. And sometimes it's hard because you have something that kind of works and one thing depends on the other. And if you change something, and actually that's going to happen in a minute. I'm going to show you, because of what I did in this code along, because of what I did in attendance, when you get into the code along, it might be a little bit different. You'll see how I handle some of that. But in this case, I know that this code can be improved. But when we're learning to code, we're writing at a level to help you understand. And sometimes, sometimes this is just the nature of learning. Right. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take this prompt. I will ask you questions. So that's the deal. It's going to give you its first improvement, right? We know that there is much that can be improved in this code. This is a learning experience. I will ask questions to help me understand your suggestions. So make sure you understand its suggestions. Now, this is going to be different based on whatever Gen AI tool. And I say this, your favorite. And I say this because I don't want to be saying you have to use, I just think that's not the way the world is right now. ChatGPT is way popular and it's free. Gemini, a version of it, is free. Perplexity is free, right? Right now, as a matter of fact, last night I was watching something about the latest Gen AI model out of China, called DeepSeek. And so I decided to download it. And so what I have is on my local system, I actually have DeepSeek loaded. I also have Olama 3.7. I mean, these are huge models. Luckily, I have enough of a beast of a machine to do it. But again, this is why I say whichever tool you want, right? Use whichever one you want. If you haven't used one, which I'm guessing most of you have, but it's okay if you haven't, go, and I don't even think you have to sign up for ChatGPT. I think you can use it without even signing up. Okay, so you take it. So first, copy this. Okay, so read it. You can read it and definitely read what it's going to. So first you're going to take the prompt, right? So I actually did already copy the prompt into here. And then you're going to take the code. Okay, so you're also, because that's part of the prompt, is you're going to provide it. Here's the code written. Okay, so then you go over to your, right, here's where the code we wrote. You copy it, right? And then after that, I do a control enter here. I actually need to talk about that in relationship to our reviews as well, right? And then I paste that in. Okay, so then we hit go, right? And you'll get your own, and again, it will be interesting, right? Because the idea here is to actually continue this process of, like, you ask for the first improvement, you spend some time. If you immediately don't understand it, right? It's okay. Even if you do, it's okay to ask questions, right? Ask questions. So I'm going to ask questions to help you better understand. And then once I have some understanding of the improvement, then I will ask for the next improvement, right? And we will continue until I do not understand the improvements you suggest, or I would say at least go a couple of rounds here. I haven't hard coded, so to speak, that concept here. But, have fun with this, because this is more time talking about code and dealing with code. Okay. So now, this is what I was saying. Take the JavaScript script we wrote and paste it into the prompt. This is what I just showed you. And then see where the conversation goes, right? And again, do not copy and paste the output of the conversation. You can share a link if you want. I mean, I know chat gives us the ability to share, right? I don't have it here, but as soon as I hit enter, there's a way to share. But that's kind of not, I mean, you can, but I don't want all of your output pasted into here because it'll just get lost, right? So what I really want here, right? So do not paste the output. You can share a link if you like. Then use another. So after you write, you'll write something here. Then you'll do another heading 3. Again, I'll change this, right? And then you'll write about your experience of doing this. Like, this is like, you don't even have to say how far you got, but like, there are so many things to improve on code, because like anything, when you, I'm repeating a little bit, but when you start learning something, you write at a basic level. It's like, I talk to English instructors and I tell them there's so many similarities between writing, and writing code. Because when we're early on, we write very simply, and we're supposed to help us understand as we grow in our skill development. Okay, so come up with some heading, right? Again, make up your heading text, right? And then here, heading 3, I'll fix that. And then write about that. right? And then, so that's worth 30 points and then 20 points for your reply, okay? All right, so that's the attendance. One thing I want to say here is that because of me doing this code along in attendance, I had actually realized when I started to review the code from because this is like I said, this video content that you're going to view in the code along and in the discussion is stuff I've done and have recycled a couple times, and I'm ready to redo it. And this actually made me realize how much I need to do it. But there's also, I'm okay with part of this because this is just part of learning, right? We as we grow, we write, we do better. I guess I would say. Okay, so now here's the point. I'm here at the functions and scope. In the prior, and you may see this in the video, I had you do a commit for the setup because I did that in here, but you don't have to do that. Okay, because you've already done the commits in the attendance. So what I ended up doing, and this is my point, when you hit play on this, it's going to start at 3 minutes and 26. And the reason is that I've actually had the embed code for the video start at that point. So hopefully it doesn't confuse you. And then we start right in and looking at MDN for functions, such an important thing we're going to do. Okay, so just know that as you get into the first code long in week 4. So then we talk about scope more, and we'll redo the way the functions and how once we get return values, there's just a lot more we can do. You may hear about that in some of the suggestions. Then we'll get to arrays, and then we'll get an introduction to looping this week, and then I'll have the week 4 review. Now on the week 4 review, I'm actually going to do something different. I actually might do it by the time you get here as well. And anyway, I won't talk about it yet in case I don't get to doing it. So that's your week 4 attendance. Work ahead whenever possible. Reach out for help if you need it. Know that you and I have different schedules. Discord is there to help you in case I'm not. I've noticed there's been some great conversation out there already. Tutor Zach's there. Look at his schedule, right? It's in simple syllabus. But the key is, right? Reach out for help when you need it. Don't get behind in a class like this. Just really any class. Try not to get behind if you can. And if you do get behind, get caught up as quickly as you can. All right. Talk to you later.